1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. How many points? How many points? How do we get to know how many points? What is the actual question? Where are we going in this video? Why am I talking about points? Facts. Things that may happen. How did they happen? How do they go forward? How do they fall back? How do they not even advance at all? Pass the puck, in the arena, on the field. In a baseball field, they call the baseball what? Are you at the batter's plate? Are you on the pitcher's mound? What is the actual field? Is it the 9 innings? Is it the rainout? You know, in a rainout, what happens, it's usually 5 innings played for one team or 15 outs. How many outs for the other team? 12. 12 and 15, 27. The letters are L and O, and you have the beginning of love. Where does V? V comes into play in baseball when you reach the 8th inning. Or V comes into baseball after, on the 22nd out, on the 22nd letter, you have V. So in outs, on number 22, it would be 4.5 innings played. 4 innings would be 12, right? And no, it would be 4 innings, would be 12 outs. And then 3 innings would be 9 outs, would be 3.5 innings played, and you're in the bottom of the 4th, right? 4 innings complete, 3.5 innings played, you're in the bottom of the 4th. So even if you get to that, for 2 teams, the 22nd out or the first out in the bottom of the 4th will be the 22nd out. On the 23rd out, on the 24th out, 4 innings have been complete. That 5th inning will tell you whether or not you succeed into the rainout. Now in the 7th inning stretch, there's now 6.5 innings played, where 21 outs came in and you were on the letter U. Okay, 21 outs, and you're going into the letter R, U and R, 21 and 18 outs. When you end the inning, you have ended the 7th inning stretch, going into the 8th inning, and the first out in the 8th inning, okay, will tell you the letter U. That's right. Take me out to the ball game. 21 and 18, 2 and 1, 3, 1 and 8, 9, 3 and 9. Bring me to one of the planets. Give me the creation of the birth of life inside the red sun of the win a big red sun. That's what it says. I'm not starting not to like this. You know, if I shaved my beard, you would see this. But with my beard, you see this. I always like to bring up a little, you know, something, whatever you want to call it, you know. Jack in the box. Jack off. Hijack. How many things go before Jack? You got hijack. You got jack off. You got Jack in a box. Jack in a box. Nina 9. 9/11. Why 9/11? Because the Jack is actually the 11th card. The Jack is the 11th card. It almost has the same relationship that when you play blackjack, that the ace is valued at 11, and you're only allowed to have one ace valued at 11 per team. So we have the 7th inning stretch, 21 and 18 outs, both on the energy side. 3 going to the corners is 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Football, you have quarters. Basketball, you got quarters. But in basketball, you're quarters of 12 minutes. They're still quarters. 48 is full in basketball. In throwing around of the universe in the game of basketball, or frozen on ice, being inside an area that can be frozen, is space frozen? Or can we just be frozen in time? Or are we just frozen because of the temperature, or is it the movement? 12 minutes versus 15 minutes. how much more time is there from 12 minutes to 15 minutes? So I take up my calculator and I go 12 times 1.3 equals to 15.6. 12 times 1.25 equals to 15. So we need in order for time from 12 minutes to 15 minutes, we need 25% more time to reach 12 to 15. Okay? And we have to do that 4 times in an hour. So now if I go 15 divided by 12 equals to 1.25. 1.25. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 equals 625. Times times a number in 5 is 1 and 4. I'm not using 2 and 3 because 1 and 4 is a total of 5. When you have 2 inside 3, you have more than one design. I'm going to show you this design. Okay. See, when you have 2 and 3, see this over here? Well, the 2 dice or the 3 dice is right over here. Right? So I can add the 3 dice and the 2 dice to create that 5, right? The 3 dice and the 2 dice, but not any 2 dice. I need the northeast to fall down into the southwest. In this one, right, I can also use this. But there's only one movement with this dice, and it's like this. Or like this. And there's only one movement, it's like that, where 4 and 1 have come together. 4 and 1, 5. Reverse to 2 and 5, 7. DNA, the quarter time of Earth. So when you reduce, how do you put 15 divided by, if I go 12 divided by 15, it equals to 0.8. 0.8. So if I go 0.8 times 15, it equals to 12. So you have 80% of 15 or communication 9 lives of the cat, or you have 1.25 to change 12 into 15, I need 1.25. But to change 15 into 12, I need to multiply it by 80%. Now if I multiply 80% by 1.25, 80 times 1.25, I will end up with 100 as 100%. So you now understand where the 4 and the 1 come into play. Now, the 1 is opposite of the 6, and the 4 is opposite of the 3. You now have 6 and 3, also a representation of many things. 1 in between 2, 6 is the half-life. In the half-life, it's represented by the 1 spirit, taken over by the 1 8 equaling to 9. Instead of the 6 1, we have the 6 3. And in 6 and 3, when you connect them, right, the only thing that you bring in is the 2 in the corner, the 1 in the center. There were already 4 alive inside this design. I'm going to show you something else on here. What is this design? Why did I just do that? Because these 4 areas are not used. I'm using all these 4 areas, right? I could have just taken a straight line and gone across, right? But there's no way to go on these areas. I can also do the X. Like in this one, what if I just create the X? All the unused areas. What's happening in the unused space? What's happening in that unused space? How can I connect right? You see the way I'm connecting inside the areas? I actually just have 2 areas. This is what's keeping me away. You see the elongation here and the elongation here. Almost telling you a story. I don't know what it's telling you. You can almost see the Star of David inside that design here. Right? If I do too much of the design, you'll lose the totality. Now, if you want to do the 6, now here's the 6 over here. Inside the 6. And we're not going to use the center. How do we connect? Look, the 6 connects just perfectly. And we also have this we can do. And the reason we can do that is because we're reaching out to direct points. Now, what is the direct point? It's 0.5 because it's in the center of the totality of 10. See, V and V, Roman numerals equals 10, is an X. And the 0.5, so then what area would you regard as this area? It is the one area of 8. But can we use it? It's in the 5 position. The heaven of the spirit matrix. 85 is matrix. 58 is 2. 51 is Mars. 81 is Venus. Now, if you start bringing in multiplication, I don't know how the whole system works. Right? So now when we have 5 and 4, okay, if we had 5 and 4, do we have a 5 and 4 over here? No, we don't. So I'm going to do this. Here's your 5, here's your 4. So we would use these X's over here, and you would run the box. You wouldn't be doing any other connecting because you're blocked over here. So you run the box. So now you have tic-tac-toe. You have an empty space here, you have an empty space here, here, and here. This is a one dimension, and the only way to continue this one dimension and to close it in is an obligation to create this design. Right away you're starting to see there's something else flowing here. Now we're going to connect the corners. If we want, we can call this the club. We can call this many things. We can look at it different ways. Whichever way we looked at it and whatever we did, we can still see. I can see through my head, but I can't see through the hairs on my chinny chin chin. My eyes, my nose, my ears.